everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name's Kevin, I'm a geek, you're watching Kevin the Geek. Welcome back to another episode of The Day Today. This is the parody news programme. I have a lot of fun watching this, so let's check out this latest episode.
The headlines tonight: NATO annulled after delegate swallows treaty. I'm so sorry, yells exploding cleaner.
Oh!
And bearded cleric in oily chin insertion. Those are the headlines. God, I wish they weren't.
Yeah, me too.
Top gits tonight.
Ah!
News presenter sacked in attempt to sell house to David Owen.
75,000, would that be enough, do you think?
And spiders will never speak, insists ambassador.
I don't think so myself. I should be very surprised if they did it in public, and I should be equally surprised if they did it in private.
There's growing evidence this evening that suspects held in police cells are being eaten by police. This report from Ted Moore has that story.
What?
4 men vanish overnight from a Reading police cell. The next detainee complains of a drain blocked with caked blood and pieces of fat on his floor. A drunk man in Chatham is banged up for the night and has his arm punched full of holes. He says the police tried to fill his arm with garlic. Just part of an increasingly muscular body of evidence, that, say activist, proves that suspect eating is on the increase and that the increase is getting rapid. The best evidence of all is this: a Bow Street bastard. A special truncheon used for beating suspects which tears out cubes of flesh small enough to fry.
Lovely.
Activist Harkin Petty says this is just one piece of evidence of suspect eating from a huge list in his head.
And it's nonsense.
Unexplained disappearances from police cells have doubled in the last year. Records show suspects are regularly weighed and smeared in oil. But police say this is just standard practice for young offenders. Campaigners are calling for immediate action. Without it, they say, thousands of suspects across the country could be eaten tonight by panicking policemen.
It's just been It's just been announced there's to be a special inquiry into the government's handling of the Froome shipping deal, which flew to pieces last month amid accusations of gross ministerial misconduct. Our economics correspondent, Peter O'Hanrahan, is with the Minister for Ships, Michael Crane. He's just prized him out of an emergency meeting.
I'm with the Minister for Ships,
That's
Michael
what
Crane,
everything
MP.
I've just said comes
He's
spewing
just
straight
left
back out of
an
his stupid
emergency
slab of
meeting.
a face.
Mr. Crane, choppy waters for the government.
Not at all, Peter. This procedure was entirely proper, and I think the inquiry will prove that the government's handling of this matter was entirely proper.
So the government's ship back on course?
Absolutely.
Back to you, Chris.
Peter, what the hell was that? This man's made a big-scale cock-up here. You let him get away with it. Now let me speak to him. Put your earpiece next to his head and stand still. Now, Minister, there's reason to believe that you lied to the House. How do you answer that?
Well, that is a very serious and unfounded allegation, and I'll be making a statement to the House based on the preliminary inquiry next week.
A week is a long time in politics.
Rab Butler.
Shut up, Peter. Now, Minister, did you or did you not lie to the House?
I will be making a full statement to the House next
It's
week.
a simple question, yes or no. Did you or did you not lie?
As the Minister for Ships sprawls on the pin, it's back to you, Chris.
No, it isn't, Peter. He's about to answer the question. He's about to admit to lying to the House. You've let him get away again. Where's he gone?
Over there.
Well, get him back.
He's in a cab.
Peter, you've lost the news.
God damn it, Peter!
What are you going to say?
Sorry.
Look like you mean it. Look down at the ground and say sorry.
I'm sorry.
Peter, next time you cross the road, don't bother looking.
Sorry.
Damn. You know, I wish more journalists would actually, you know, be a bit more forceful with politicians. We all know that politicians will evade questions. I mean, when what's his face went into the jungle. God, what's his face? Matt Hancock. When he went in there, obviously he spoke about you know how politicians are basically trained to when they get a question, they'll twist it to where they want to take it more than answering the actual questions for that. And I do think you have people like Piers Morgan, who is a bit controversial with his interview line of questioning from time to time. But I think the reason that a lot of people that do like him like the fact that he's blunt and brutal, and he's not afraid to say, actually, no, you've not answered my question. This is supposed to be an interview. How about you actually answer the question rather than giving an answer what you want to give, rather than actually answering the question that is being put to you.
Travel now from Valerie Sinatra in her pod a mile above the centre of Great Britain. Valerie, talk me some road.
Well, you're gagging for it, Chris, so here it
Whoa.
goes. The M4 between Reading and London is still solid. That's due to the lorry driver having shed his skin across 3 lanes, so watch out for oily patches there. The M40 southbound still slow due to that earlier large accident. Police reckon they should have finished bagging and labelling everything by about midnight. Meanwhile, mobile vehicle crushers are in operation in Cardiff on red line routes. So if you're illegally parked there, they will crush your car to the size of a Satsuma and simply hand it back to you.
I love
Nice.
Satsumas.
Well, so do I, Chris, but I don't think I'd like to drive one.
Yeah, but I bet if you did, you'd do it really well.
Finally, a look at the capital, which is London. Worse than ever tonight, I'm afraid. Lots of cars on Oxford Street being slowed down by their own lights. So I'm afraid your fast, speedy sports car, no use to you at all.
Yeah.
Thanks very much indeed, Valerie, and I'm sure Alan will agree she certainly is one for a fast car.
She certainly is.
Hey,
I
Alan
prefer something
Partridge.
a little bit more comfortable myself.
Oh, well, with me, Alan, it's comfort and speed every time.
Well, a fast car's a safe car.
Of course, in the States, we drive a whole lot slower than you guys.
Actually, I think statistically, slower cars are actually more dangerous.
Yeah, but you can't be saying we should get rid of the speed limits.
No.
That's
Whoa.
Now the sport with Alan Partridge.
Thanks, Chris. And it's a special desk of sport this week as we look forward to all the sporting action that will take place in this year's 1994 World Cup finals in America in Alan Partridge's World Cup Countdown to 94.
Yes! Alan Partridge's countdown.
Yes.
Yes!
Yes.
Yes!
That was a goal. Striker! Eat that! And another! Bing bang, stick it in. Thank you. Good night. Swat! That was liquid football. Shit! Did you see that? He must have a foot like a traction engine. Goal!
Goal!
Well, it's going to be 3 weeks of non-stop action, and to help us along and add a little bit of colour and fun to the proceedings, I've got with me a soccer meter. What's that, Alan? Well, I'll tell you, it's very simple. It's to explain the group system. Now, first of all these long arms here, these long signposts, are the venues where the matches will be played. Dallas, San Francisco, Los Angeles, and so on. If you look at me from above, you can see that these are the group. This is the group system. It's 14 groups: A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N.
Yeah.
And there are 4 rounds. There's round 1, the red round, yellow round, blue round, red round again. That's my colour coding, not FIFA's. You won't find that with FIFA, just with me. So that's the basis of it, and as you can see, they get progressively fewer towards the centre, the ultimate goal being the World Cup. All right, let's take an example. OK, round 1 is Pasadena. Let's say it takes place in Pasadena, between Chile and Paraguay, something like that. OK, and then we're through to round 2, which is, let's say it's San Francisco. Okay, we've not got much time here. San Francisco, and that goes through to Orlando. So let's take it round to Orlando there.
What?
Let's move those out of the way.
Does anyone understand this?
Where's San Francisco? Right, just going to find San
I
Francisco.
don't even think Alan knows what this
There it
is.
Right. So San Francisco have played Orlando. And then we're through to round 3, Los Angeles. It's not written. It's it's not written on that side. It should be, but it's blooming not. And then it's whoever went then we're through to the final of the World Cup. Who's that going to be?
I don't know.
The proof is in the pudding, and the pudding in this case is a football. Booth, eat my goal. Goalie has got football pie all over his shirt.
I'm Alan Partridge, and that will be my World Cup '94. You can come too. Join me.
Thanks, Alan. More sport from you later. Absolutely, Chris. With a bit of luck, we'll have Sandy Lyle on the line.
America now. If you have a baby in the States, you may well be in for a bit of a surprise when they yank it out. Barbara Wintergreen reports.
San Spirito, California, where Americans keen to brood but too busy to breed pay for a prosthetic pregnancy. This is a natus, a plastic disc implanted inside the womb which expands to give the sensation of labor without being sentenced to children.
And what?
There she is. Can you see her at the top there? There she is. Say hello. That's lovely.
The cervical substitute is the Formica brainchild of doctors Bill McVitie and Mortimer Marcus.
Isn't that extraordinary? Starts out like that, it ends up like that. Isn't that nice?
Within the woman's body.
Absolutely.
Comes out just like this. Woo!
At this fallopian factory, people come for a credit card conception. The price includes labor and delivery, and there's a hefty surcharge on the discharge. Among the thousands of proxy parents forking out for this flexible fetus are Anton and Lally Sampson.
We've really worked hard at, you know, we've given him his own room, he's got his Bon Jovi posters, you know, Sharon's the Red Sox.
But divorcing Americans are causing courtroom chaos in custody battles for their beloved disc. And outside the Natus Institute, women's league protester Taya Peachman leads a womb vigil against synthetic siring. I believe you've been smashing Nadi, is that true?
Yeah, we have Nadi smashing by the side of the road to try and de-encouragize the women who come in here thinking that they want that thing in their women. They do not. They can spend their money, but they should just remember that they're women and they have a right to live and to breathe!
That's the beauty of the whole natus thing, is that if a woman wants the pain, if she wants to scream, if she wants to bleed, she can. If, however, she just wants it to pop out like a bar of soap, then she can have that option too.
So it looks like this is one reproduction line where a plastic and placenta go hand in hand. Barbara Wintergreen, CBN News at the Natus Institute, San Spirito, California.
Is it just me? Or if they were to suddenly announce that this was in reality an actual thing, why do I not seem surprised that Americans would actually buy into this? I mean, no offense to any Americans who watch my channel, but I'd be... Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me, weirdly.
The day today, because fact into doubt won't go.
And we've just heard that areas in 3 of Britain's biggest cities are being evacuated due to suspect dogs. Police believe this could be the start of a mainland campaign of dog bombs threatened by the IRA last month.
Excuse me?
This report from Eugene Fraxby has got the story with him, reports.
Oxford Street in London with 3 policemen and a knotted tape barrier. A stray dog was spotted here an hour ago and everybody ran out. Police then isolated the area containing the dog and told the public to clear off. Later they located it and conducted a controlled explosion.
What the hell? What the hell?
But as the remains were being taken for laboratory tests, a second dog ran out from the crowd. It could have been a bomb. The police had no choice. It was over in seconds. A dog and 3 people dead from guns. Being old, they would have died soon anyway. But the dog, which contained no explosive at all, was shot to ribbons in its prime.
By 6 o'clock this evening, a monument had been built, marking the end, perhaps, of the relationship between man and dog, which today went from this to this.
The only way police can neutralize bomb dogs is to spray them with a resin coating which hardens instantly to contain any explosion. The inside of the bomb dog is obviously destroyed, but the outside stays the same shape.
However, if the underside is not covered, a highly directional blast launches the animal vertically to a height of 1,000 feet.
That's so bizarre.
New explosive sus laws mean any domestic dog is now a potential hazard. And an eyewitness who was caught up in more bomb dog chaos.
Shooting one policeman in particular I saw, it went,
No!
and one guy, I don't know whether he was involved or not, was running away. It went, and he caught him one more time between the eyes. It was horrible. It went, that was as much as I saw, really.
Oh, you saw quite a lot then, didn't you?
7 more dogs have gone off in the last 10 minutes. Eugene Fraxby. The 4 hounds exploded in central London without warning, all within yards of government buildings. The Prime Minister put on a brave face, but for many, like Tory whip Peter Goodright, the time for calm words is over.
An absolute fucking disgrace. These inhuman, sit-for-sale here, in my considered opinion, they are
Journalist David Mellor added little of interest.
An insolent contempt for public opinion.
And for Junior Health Secretary Paul Mann, words alone could not express his anger. Police are on the alert again this evening and have cordoned off a man in Piccadilly. It's believed he may have eaten a suspect dog last night and could now go off himself. Sinn Féin have so far denied they are backing the campaign. Earlier today I spoke to their deputy leader, Rory O'Connor, who under broadcasting restrictions must inhale helium to subtract credibility from his statements.
So what's your initial statement?
These incidents are inevitable given the position of the British government. The IRA have been forced into this position.
So you do support this campaign of violence?
The IRA... Sinn Féin is a legitimate political party.
Which supports terrorist action.
Your tone is antagonistic and you're making me very angry.
And since we conducted that interview, all sides in the conflict have had a meeting and have sorted everything out.
The day-to-day is now available in these fine locations. The night sky over Paris. The International Hackenbecker Building in Chicago. The wall of Cheops Pyramid at Giza. And the handles of 400 million petrol pumps across the globe.
The huge success of the BBC's new soap opera The Bureau spread to Italy.
Voglio parlarne adesso, parleremo più tardi.
They've got a daytime discussion show there devoted entirely to it. It's called Bello Buretti, and its stars are the wagging tongues of hosts Carmena Zo and Casina McRae.
Ma tu sei in crisi, eh? No. Ah, siete da bravo!
Ultimazione della masculino.
Non un spettacolo di burattini sul lungomare.
So much for the Euro Bureau. Meanwhile, back here in Britain, a nation holds its breath tonight for the 2000th edition.
Nice! Wouldn't mind seeing this for real. Oh my word!
Quick! Get him into the Bureau de Change!
Get him into the Bureau de Change!
What happened? Who did this to you? I don't know, I didn't see.
I'll get him. I'll get these evildoers.
No, Alex, violence solves nothing. Why did they do this to me? Just because I'm gay. I'm gay. I'm gay.
What?
It's Guy, Mr. Hennity. He's been attacked.
Yeah, I know. What did you say?
I said I'm gay.
You're fired.
If Guy goes, we all go.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go on then, walk. The lot of you, walk. I've got people queuing up to work inside this Bureau de Change.
Right. Right. I'm going.
Me too. I don't even work here.
Yeah, go on, you go and all. But just you remember what you said.
Oh, my word!
Maria! Maria!
You've got to see her.
I would see myself as an individual human being needing salvation
and
receiving it through the work of Jesus Christ.
Do you find the day-to-day comes into this at all?
Well, how can it not? It is day-to-day.
Every day, the day-to-day?
Every day, day-to-day, yeah.
For you?
Yes.
And with a bit of luck for all these people?
That's what one prays for, what one would like to see.
You would like to see the day-to-day for all these people today? If your prayer was answered?
Yes. That they should each enter into an experience of personal salvation.
Which would include the day-to-day?
Well, how could it not? I don't know what kind of salvation you could be talking about that wouldn't include the day-to-day.
He didn't have a clue what to talk about, does he?
Environmation from me, Rosie May. An international ban on the hunting of waves has finally been introduced. Waves have been used for centuries to pull cars in small countries, but are now facing extinction. Over 1 million specially farmed waves are to be released into the wild this winter. Man has finally harnessed the cooling power of worms to drive a fridge. The worms inhabit an internal piping system cooling everything as they go. Cramming in more worms lowers the temperature. Worms. I'm Rosie May. My milk is green. Come drink me.
Excuse me?
Tomorrow, the Home Office release a new series of videos designed to help young people with everyday problems. They're produced in association with the Day-to-Day, and this is the first.
Salted!
Salted!
Salted! Salted!
Salted!
Salted!
Salted!
Hello, I'm Graham. And I'm Crispin. And today we're going to show you how to deal with a relative who's just died in your house. Let's go.
Okay.
Oh, look, Dad's dead.
Oh, bugger.
Hello, Dad.
Are you dead?
Right then, what you'll need is some vinegar, an oven glove, 2 ping pong balls, fresh, books, some butcher's grass, super glue, some bungee, a salad spinner, and a chisel.
1 chili chisel and a packet of fresh, please.
First, embalming. A cup of vinegar, bit of shoe polish on the wrists, and inject the corpse thoroughly with fresh. Now he's ready for the coffin. But don't forget, wash your hands.
Yeah, wash your hands. Safety first.
It's the end of your day as you...
Now he's unburied, now he's not.
Hey.
Leave her up a nearby paving stone. Scratch on the name.
Write the name on the stone, so people can see what's in the ground.
And make way for the priest. For your bouquet, stick your chisel into your salad spinner. Plunge it into the mound. Flowers! Sorted!
Okay.
Unless, of course, you're a Muslim.
Wow. Do you reckon that's the originators for the people behind 5-minute hacks? That would surprise me.
Now with the rest of today's news, Chris, thanks. It's 8 o'clock. This is the Day-to-Day. The main stories so far. The Libyan leader Colonel Gaddafi has plunged southern Europe into crisis by kidnapping Crete and towing it to a secret location off the Libyan coast. Crowds in Tripoli welcomed the news. A delighted Gaddafi waving like a girl. Libyan tugs stole Crete at 2 o'clock this morning.
What?
At first, the natives, aided by strong winds, were able to haul it halfway back. But then they lost grip. The island was towed to the North African coast and hidden underwater. The Lincolnshire village of Fladney is tonight recovering from a gravity quake during which the Earth's pull was reversed for 7 minutes, sending everything not secured onto the ground over a mile into the air. The quake struck at 4:30 this afternoon. These pictures were taken by Paul Cork, who had his Polaroid with him when he fell up into the roof of a shed. This man survived by clinging onto a boot scraper. Others were not so lucky.
I was playing football with my cousin just in the garden there, and
It jumped up to catch the ball and just kept going.
His cousin later rained back onto the ground along with 4,000 other villagers. The American space shuttle Endeavour 4 sets off tonight on its special stunt mission. Once in orbit, it will hurtle towards a NASA space ramp, fly off the end and leap over a line of 12 other shuttles. It will then return to Earth tomorrow afternoon at 3:30. And leap over a line of 12 other shuttles.
So,
it will then return to Earth tomorrow afternoon at 3:30.
That was very distracting, but kind of cool.
It's time now for our resident humorist, Brant, the physical cartoonist from the Daily Telegraph, to bloody the noses of the great and good. Mr. B, make us smile about the bad things in the world.
This week, I've been looking east, where Chris Patton, like King Kong, has made a monkey of himself over Hong Kong.
An old man stands naked in front of a mirror eating soup. He is a fool.
Jacques Livereau, a brilliant man and a surprisingly nice one, too. Now, it's easy to tell if somebody's dead, but how can you tell if you're dead? Some people have lived to tell the tale. In a short film we've made.
Some people have described having out-of-body experiences when near to death.
Lucy Turner Warwick is a boxing trainer in High Wycombe. She had a near-death experience when in a coma induced by a pupil.
I learnt later that I had actually died. My heart stopped for, I don't know, a few seconds. I could see a tunnel, and at the end of that tunnel, a very, very bright light. I was aware of a figure standing at the end where the light was. She led me into an open-plan office. And at the back, there was this little separate office. And she beckoned me towards it, and on the door, it said God. And there was a man, very nice, friendly man, in a suit, grey hair, and I sat down, and we chatted a bit. He was very jokey and jolly, and I remember he had a little sign behind his head that said, it was one of those, you know, you don't have to be mad to work here, but it helps, or something. So I thought, well, he's obviously got a sense of humour. Anyway, we talked, and then he pointed to another man in a suit with a beard and said, that's my son. And I looked back at God, and he laughed and said, it's a family firm, you know. And it was very, very friendly, but very boring.
I'm afraid all of these people that talk of these out-of-body experiences are basically congenital liars.
Chanticleer Gardsley is Professor of Psychosociology at University College London.
Right.
He is a skeptic.
We have a whole catalogue of examples of hospitals actually manufacturing out-of-body experiences whereby they attach patients to wires and actually lift them up towards the ceiling, therefore creating in the patient a feeling of literally lifting.
In laboratory experiments, scientists artificially created near-death experiences in mice. They fired hungry mice against a wall with a specially calibrated gun. Food was placed on a shelf above the comatose mice. If they had a soul, it would leave the mouse's body, float upwards, and eat.
What the hell?
The results showed that afterwards, the mice felt as if they had just eaten. More proof was provided by the out-of-body experience of Leslie Safrat.
I could actually see myself coming out of my mouth as vomit, but it wasn't just as vomit, it was like as vomit in a dress. And then I woke up and I was a woman. I went into my experience as a man, but left it as a woman. Something definitely happened, but I don't know what.
So how do you explain the case of Keith Phillips, who returned from his out-of-body experience as a woman?
He didn't.
But we've filmed it, and there's an awful lot of evidence to show that that's the case.
No, there isn't.
Do you believe in God?
Oh, yes. And I liked him. I like him. I love him, but I don't want to go and... I don't want to go and work for him. Not yet.
I have my thoughts on this. I'll explain at the end.
An optimist sees half a pint of milk
He says, it is half full. A pessimist sees half a pint of milk. He says, it is half empty. I see half a pint of milk. I say, it is sour.
No time for anything but the weather. A lot of snow around. Pretty grim out there, isn't it, Sylvester?
Yes, Chris, most of Britain will be waking up tomorrow to a carpet of white dung.
Thanks, mate. And that's it. No time left for the headlines. That's the day today. 9 o'clock BBC 2 tomorrow night. We'll start again. Until then, thanks very much for watching. Just remains for me to wish you a very good night. Join us again tomorrow night for a full resume of the day's events, the sport, the business, the weather, and the very latest changes in the world of...
Maybe you should have left the lights on?
Tomorrow evening on BBC 2. That's the day today, keeping you abreast of the very latest changes in local, national and international news. Prepared to break the flow of the programme if necessary to accommodate footage of unfurling events. Often live packaged by field reporters on the hoof. Those who know that news is paramount and only the most recently hatched news egg has any currency at all. That's the day today. The fittest, sharpest news programme, full sport, keeping abreast of football matches.
What the hell? That was a very weird ending. But they like doing weird stuff and weird endings. Right. I just want to quickly look something up because there's something in that last little bit about that the death experiences thing. So I just want to check up, see if I can remember what it was.
A few moments later.
Okay, so that was episode 4 of the day today, and I think the show is definitely getting better as time goes on. I mean, I still wouldn't necessarily say that it is my most favourite thing to react to on the channel, but I am enjoying it. And of course, I've said before that the main reason, obviously, watching it is, you know, for the Alan Partridge stuff, which of course, in a couple of months' time, we'll be moving on to, you know, full-blown Alan Partridge stuff on the channel. So that whole last thing, I mean, I've said it on similar kind of things on the channel before, that my views on the afterlife, you know, life after death and whatever, I believe that because there is evidence of electrical activity, you know, quite a surge in electrical activity in the brain when someone passes, you know, pretty much the moment of death. And my opinion, it is the body's defense mechanism of preparing the person for death. And in those last moments, they will see what they perceive effectively death to be. If you believe that there's going to be nothing, you will see nothing. If you believe in the afterlife, I believe you'll see the pearly gates. If you believe in reincarnation, you'll see yourself reincarnated, or whatever the case may be. So, to say that people are nutters, when they say I had a near-death experience and I saw the pearly gates or stuff like that, I genuinely don't necessarily believe that they are, in essence, lying. I do believe that there is something that they probably did see, and it was, again, the body's way, its self-defense mechanism of, you know, preserving what's going to happen for those people. Now, to say that they can't change, like they did that thing there about the woman, the man kind of nearly dying and then coming back and believing themselves to be a woman. This is what I had to check out, and I remembered reading this, and I've been able to find it. So this was an article, it was about 12, 13 odd years ago, but there was a guy who was engaged. He was a rugby player, like the amateur level and stuff, and he was, you know, getting well on the way to getting married to this girl who he'd been with for many years, had a highly successful job in banks and stuff, and he had an accident where basically he broke his neck and basically as a result of that suffered a stroke. When he woke up from his coma and recovered, basically he became gay. He then basically broke up with his girlfriend, started going out with a guy, then they were living together, and he quit his job in the bank and retrained as a hairdresser and gave up rugby. And that is something that they say that with a stroke, that kind of thing can cause that kind of thing. I mean, the article that I managed to find that that was talking about this, someone from the Stroke Association said, in a stroke, blood supply to the brain is cut off and the areas starved of oxygen, brain cells die and damage can be caused. But the brain is adaptable and during recovery it can make new neural connections, finding different pathways to achieve those same things. So it's possible those new neural connections can trigger other connections to things people weren't aware of, such as an accent, language, or a different sexuality. Whether or not the stroke turned Chris gay, or whether he was gay anyway, but unsure of it, his experience is a positive one, which is great. Which, yeah, if he is happy, then great. But yeah, they obviously weren't sure, you know, what the case would be, and you would be entitled to make your own interpretations. I mean, only theoretically the guy himself wouldn't know, you know, in general. But yeah, it is interesting that, and I do think that people that dismiss stuff are ridiculous in a way, personally. But yeah, there's a lot of people that are ridiculous out there. But that episode, I kind of obviously went a little bit off topic there, but that episode was fun, and the show is fun. It's just bonkers, isn't it? It is just pure frenetic bonkers that just does not make any sense. Like the Alan Partridge bit in the middle, that was just weird as hell. Although I wouldn't mind seeing a full episode of The Bureau. That would be interesting. That would be a fun one to do. If they ever did create a full episode of that, let me know. But that is going to do it for today's reaction. So thank you so much for joining me. But for today, my name is Kevin. I am a geek, and you've been watching Kevin the Geek. Goodbye.